Just the fact that you are here existing on this planet means that you are enough. In midlife, we always are on a search for our purpose. We're feeling lost and we need to reinvent ourselves and find out what our purpose is. But I am here to tell you today that just you existing as you are is perfectly enough. That's all you need to do is show up as you are. You don't need to be more. You don't need to make more money. You don't need to have a job. You don't need to have a big house or be married, any of those things. Just you existing is you being enough, is your whole purpose for being here. You have chosen to come here to learn a lesson, and this planet in this specific time needs you doing your thing in order for everything to perfectly be in alignment. That's how the universe works. So when we are very much involved in shame and guilt and all of these things, we can let that go because we want to remember that we are just enough, just as we are in this perfect moment without even having to do, think, or be anything. We are enough. Everything is energy. This whole universe is made up of energy, and we are part of that universe. Energy just exists. It never dies, but it does transform. It takes on different forms. It goes from this to that, but it never dies. And you are this energy. That is why it's so amazing. And I feel like in midlife, we don't want to be, who am I? What's my purpose? I feel like it's more a going inward and a remembering why we came here in the first place. Remembering what our journey was really all about, the lesson that we're wanting to learn. And the only place we could find that is inside, because we're the only one that knows that. There used to be this, I can't remember where I heard this from, but I had this thought in my head from reading this, that if you ask your children at the age when they can first learn how to speak, what makes them happy, and whatever their answer is, then that's what their purpose in life is. But we come here with our purpose. We decide that ahead of time. That's how we choose our parents to help us learn this purpose. So for some people, we're learning forgiveness the hard way. Other people, we're learning love. Other people, like just all of the things. That's how we choose our parents, and that's how we arrive here on earth. And so when we can get to these kids at an early age, when they're just learning how to talk, we can find out about who they really are and what their purpose is, because it hasn't been trained out of them yet. Because once we get a hold of them as parents, we teach them all the life skills, and they forget about why they came here in the first place. There's just a lack of remembering. So then we spend the rest of our life trying to remember what our reason for coming in here is, and that's what our purpose is. And that's why we feel like we don't know what our purpose is, because we've just simply forgotten what our agenda was, what our agreement was, why we came here in the first place. When you ask your children what their purpose is or what makes them happy, they'll tell you what it is, and that's their reason for being here. I remember with my youngest, Santos, I remember also asking him, do you remember what it was like to be in my belly? As soon as he could talk, I was asking him these questions because he was still remembering these things that he brought with him. And he explained to me what it was like to be inside my belly. It was fascinating because the words he used were not words that a young child his age would know or would put onto an experience like that. And then I also asked him what makes him really happy. Like what's your goal? I can't remember how I phrased it because there was a specific sentence you used. And his answer was to be happy. That was his answer, to be happy. So his whole purpose here is just happiness. That's all it is. That's his mission in life, is just happiness. And so it doesn't matter what job he has or how much money he makes or all of that stuff. His goal is going to be happiness within himself. And once he achieves that, he's going to have an amazing life, no matter where he lives or what he's doing or what his thoughts are. He's going to be living an amazing life if he has internal happiness. Isn't that amazing? If you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, this is what his philosophy is based on. He's saying the people that have immense wealth know that everything is energy. And when you vibrate at the level of having a lot of money, because he's specifically talking about money, then you will attract that to you. So it's not necessarily what you're doing, like taking action, because you could be taking action from greed. I need to have all the money. You could be taking action from a place of lack and scarcity. Like, what if there's not enough money for me? What if I don't have any money? Those are low energies, because remember, everything is energy. And as humans, we vibrate at certain energy levels. Everybody has a different energy level, depending on what they're thinking about, what they're going through, what their internal struggle is, what their life purpose is, the whole reason they came here in the first place. And Think and Grow Rich is based on that. It's like, here's your goal over here. What would it feel like to have achieved that goal? And so he's talking about money. If you had all the money that you could ever possibly want, who would you be if you were that person? What would that feel like in your body? What would that physically feel like in your body to have all that money? And then you have that feeling, you capture that feeling, you describe that feeling in great detail. And then the secret is you feel that feeling today before you've achieved that success and created that money. Because that's your vibration level. That's where you're vibrating at. And like attracts like. So if you're vibrating at the level of the person who's already achieved it, you good. That means that you're going to attract that to you at a faster pace, because like attracts like. So here you are vibrating at the level of abundance, worthiness, for being able to receive all of this money. You are going to get it way easier than the person who doesn't think that they're worthy of receiving all of this, because unworthiness is near the bottom. Shame and guilt, they are at the bottom of this spiral. They are a super low energy. But at the top of the spiral are those high energies of abundance, of confidence, of love, of joy. As I studied to be an energy healer, there was a point on my journey when I realized that joy was even higher than love. Like, I thought love was the highest vibration on this spiral that you could vibrate at. And then I learned about joy, and oh my God, joy is higher than love. Joy is the highest possible vibration that you could ever possibly have. And then I learned about gratitude. Now, gratitude is the highest vibration that you could possibly vibrate at. And if you're looking to create stuff in your life, you want to come from a place of gratitude. And gratitude is like assuming the state of the wish fulfilled, meaning feeling like you've already had it. Like, I am so grateful for this, even when you don't have it. So you're vibrating at that super high level. That's that Think and Grow Rich philosophy again. Just the gratitude of having it, even if you don't have it. Then you're vibrating at that high level. And then the other day, I was listening to one of my mentors speak, and he is offering up that there's an even higher vibration. And these are measured in frequencies. This is a scientific fact that there's the different vibrations. In the highest possible vibration that this is what he's offering. And this is what I'm contemplating right now. I'm working on it. I'm thinking it over in my brain. And I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So that's why I wanted to share it with you. But the highest level, I want you to guess what it is as you're going on your walk and you're probably meditating or taking time for yourself. What's the highest level you could possibly vibrate at? What would it be? She asks herself, what could that possibly be? What is higher than love? What is higher than joy? What is higher than gratitude? Like, what? I really thought gratitude was the highest, but no, there's a higher one. Let me offer it up to you and see if you agree or not. Maybe you have a different opinion. But could it be that the highest level that you could vibrate at would be that of authenticity? The highest level of authenticity. What does authenticity mean? It means to be genuine, like true. So the way he described it was like, how do you know when you're being authentic? It's when you tell yourself the truth. When you tell yourself the truth in your brain and you believe what you're saying 100%. That is how you hit authenticity. That's how you vibrate at the highest level. And that is how you can create whatever you want at lightning speed in your life. That's how you can get better results. That's how you can get to where you're going faster, quicker, easier. But this is not something that we're taught at a young age. What we are taught is, remember when I first started this story, it was about learning how to show up in society. So it's what our parents teach us, how to function in society. And that's when all of our purpose for being here falls away. It doesn't disappear. We just forget about it. It goes into the background and we can't recall it. And that's why we spend the rest of our life in a remembering of why we came here in the first place, because we chose to come here. Being here in this life experience on earth is the furthest we can get from our spiritual self. Why? Because we're energetic beings having a physical human experience on earth here. And being in a physical body is the hardest energy to be in for an energetic being because it's a physical body. So when we're in our just true, authentic energy self, we're just energy. That's why people struggle being in a physical body, but it's the furthest we could be from enlightenment. That's why it's so hard. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to feel these feelings in our physical body and deal with this physical body that gets us around everywhere we want to go. So when we go inward and we focus more on this energetic component of ourselves, we're going to get better results faster. And what I'm offering you might be today, this might be the first time you've ever heard this. So I just want to offer it up to you for like you to say, what's possible here? Could this be possible for me? Could I investigate this further? What part of this resonates with me? Maybe I do want to learn more about this because I am going into midlife and now feeling like I've lost my purpose because we think our kids are our purpose, but they're not. Our purpose is the whole reason why we came here in the first place, to learn a lesson, to learn forgiveness, to learn love, to learn hate, to learn sadness. I don't know what it is. That's what we want to remember. And then we spend the rest of our life trying to remember that. That's why we go through a midlife crisis, because when we're raising our kids, we're like, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to think about what my purpose is. It's here. It's my kids. But it's not. And that's why it's so hard when the kids go away and become their own version that live their lives. Now we're like, oh my gosh, now I have to focus inward because I don't have a purpose anymore and I've forgotten why I'm here. And this is horrible. This is like, who am I? Why am I here? This is how we float around and spin in confusion and get stuck and just feel like this is the hardest time of our life instead of this being the best time of our life because we're remembering who we are and we can go out and do so much good in the world and just experience so much of the world from a different perspective of us fully remembering why we came in the first place. So I'm really kind of turning it on its head and just offering this up as how could this be possible? What if she is right? Let me just play with this in my thoughts. I love doing deep thinking. I feel like our brains are our biggest resource and we want to be free thinkers. The better life we live is because of how much we use our brain and think independently. And these days it's hard because our attention is being pulled and everybody is vying for attention because they know that it's the hottest commodity. It's the biggest way to control people is by stealing their attention, by capturing their attention. And so it's really easy for us to be distracted by all the shiny stuff. It's really easy for us to be distracted by social media. This just the attention span, like I was talking about on another podcast, is I've become ADD because I just was watching social media and my focus became non-existent. And in order for me to focus, I want to start focusing on long form content. I want to focus on reading books. I want to focus on, like watching a YouTube channel where I'm learning something and it's a 20-minute YouTube thing, not a jump over here and a flash over there, not all the dopamine hits. Dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. And this is what I want to offer to you when you're going through midlife. It's not a crisis, but it's a remembering of who you are and why you came here in the first place. And the best way to get there, the quickest way to get there, is to vibrate at a super high level, the level of authenticity. So you always want to be checking your brain and be thinking and asking yourself, is this true? Do I believe this? Or is this just some stuff that I'm regurgitating that I learned from somebody else? Is this true? Do I believe this? And the more you can speak from your truth and believe your truth, the more authentic you become and the higher the vibration you vibrate at, and the quicker you attract all of your hopes and desires to you. But this would require you to think outside the box. This would require you to say, what if? Is this possible for me? And think of it from a place of starting fresh. Forget everything you know about how society works and all of these social constructs. But if you wanted to be super happy and live an amazing life, what would that look like for you? If I could ask the young version of yourself, when you just first started talking, what makes you happy? What would you have said? If you could go back to when you were super young and you remember when you were in just sheer joy, why were you so joyous? What were you doing? And this is your purpose. Whatever that is, that's your purpose. And now is the time to remember it. And then raise your vibration so that you attract it to you. And how you know what level you're vibrating at is look around you. Your outer world is just a reflection of what's going on inside you. So your outer world are your results, and your results never lie. So you can look at your results and see what level you're vibrating at. And then you know that there's work to be done. You want to get that level up. You want to start vibrating at a higher level to attract what you do want. I like to call this becoming self-actualized. That's who you think is the very best version of you that you want to become. And that, I guess, after this podcast today, could be like your true authentic self. And I just always call it that self-actualized version of you, because you create it, you actualize it in your brain with your energy. So here's what I see myself doing. Here's who I think I am. And then I want to know what that feels like. What does it feel like to be that version of me already? And I go deep into my physical body. If I'm that person doing all those things, creating all that stuff, how does it feel like in my physical body? And I get into all the nitty-gritty details. It feels energetic, and it feels strong and powerful and glowing. Where do I feel it? I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my arms and my chest, and my back feels so strong. And I feel like this big white light. And what kind of energy is it? And what color is it? What does it smell like? How does it move in your body? Like, see all the details that I'm getting into? I'm really, really somatically feeling it in my body. And the more I do that, the more detail-oriented I get, the more specific I get, the quicker I can draw that to me. Because now I'm feeling it in my body. Even though I haven't achieved it, I'm feeling the way I have as if I have already achieved it without having to already have achieved it. And that's how I achieve it, right? Like mind blown. So you can go out there and create this for yourself from feeling like you've already created it. But you have to be brave, and you have to be curious, and you have to be willing to do things that you might think are crazy because they don't teach you this in school, but this is how the universe works. So spend your time feeling like you've already become that person that you want to be. And get intimate with how it feels in your body and call it up more often all the time, so that you get to the point where you're not just feeling it when you sit down and have a moment to be like, okay, how does it feel? So you want to be feeling that all the time. You want to walk around in that energy, at that high vibration 24/7. And then you'll be calling it into you, and you'll be like, damn, this is amazing. Remember, I always say this is magical. Look for the magic and the mystery everywhere, because it is everywhere and you can create it. And you're going to blow your own damn mind with what's possible for you when you raise your vibration. Your baseline vibration. Just crank it up there to pure authenticity and watch the magic happen. Remember, whoever or whatever you think you are so much more than that. So go get it. Thank you for listening. Always, always, always love yourself first, and have an amazing day.